400 years after Tigerseptimus' reign, the beginning will meet the end, and the bloody circle will close in the Empire of Tamriel. The unworthy heirs of the Septim dynasty have allowed the bonds of the Empire to weaken and crack. Uriel Septim, the Seventh, cannot repair what his ancestors ignored. The provinces fight among themselves like neglected children, drunk with rebellion. One dominable power hides itself, but not forever.
Excuse the gloom, but none may know of this meeting. The nature of my trouble is darker still. Over a year ago, King Lysandus of Daggerfall died honorably on the field of battle. He was as loyal a subject, ally, and friend as you are. I did grieve for him, but his spirit does not rest. With a spectral army, he haunts his former kingdom, crying for revenge. I do not know why a good and loyal man would be so cursed. Perhaps you can find the answer and close the marble drawers of oblivion, bringing peace to his soul. I ask this as your emperor and your friend. I have one lesser request. Several years ago, I wrote a letter to the Queen of Daggerfall. It never arrived. The letter was of a sentimental and personal nature. If you find and destroy that letter, I will be grateful. Now, my champion, rest well this night, for tomorrow you sail for the Kingdom of Daggerfall.
You wake and look around the room. Some hours ago, you were in a boat en route to Daggerfall, when a storm of supernatural strength boiled over the Iliac Bay like a malefic creature. Your boat was destroyed, but you managed to swim through the churning water to a promontory rock. There you found a cave and escaped the fury of the storm. You had only just lit a small fire when a mudslide sealed you within. Your fear of being buried alive calmed when you saw the corridor leading out of the cavern. Perhaps there is a way out of this cave after all. Once free of the cave, you can begin the Emperor's quest. Dear Asiani Raihan, I heard about your accident at sea and feared the worst. Now that I have heard you are alive and well, I would like the opportunity to meet with you and discuss our beloved Emperor's mission in the Iliac Bay. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lady Magnuson, the Emperor's agent in the court of Daggerfall. My position is not so official as an ambassador, none but the other agents of the Emperor know of my true affiliation. The Iliac Bay is rife with rebels against the Imperial throne, so your discretion is required. For the purpose of our meeting, I will take a room. Of course, there is a possibility that you have intentionally snubbed me and shirked your duty to the Emperor. I hope that is not the case. If you have failed to arrive, I will be forced to assume that you are a traitor to His Imperial Majesty, Imperial Uriel Septim 8.
Thank you for responding to my letter. I am Lady Briziana. Let me bring you to date on affairs. The spectre of King Lysandus haunts the streets of Daggerfall at night. Trying to communicate with him is futile. He will occasionally moan the word vengeance, but that is the only coherent word I have ever heard him utter. If you are ever in Daggerfall, do not wander the city at night. You are certain to be attacked by his legion of ghosts. It will be probably more gainful to investigate those who might have wronged Lysandus to find the cause behind his torment. I do not know if the royal family of Daggerfall or another person or persons merit more suspicion. The major powers of the Bay, Sentinel, Wayrest and Daggerfall may be good places to start. In the matter of the letter, the Emperor's agent says that he was unable to deliver it to the Queen because of the war. He hired a courier who supposedly delivered the letter in his stead. We do not even know the name of this courier. Obviously there is a little information of use, but it will be worthwhile to see whether the letter arrived at Castle Daggerfall at all. How you decide to do this is entirely your decision. I will contact you if any new information should surface. I am leaving Daggerfall soon. My position here has been compromised and my life is in danger. Do not mention my name in court. It is more likely to hurt than help. Good luck and watch your back, Atiani.
Dear Asiani, my eyes and ears abroad say that you are interested in the fate of a certain letter. An emperor should not be so careless, nor should a queen. You really should come visit me in Castle Wayrest. I have some most interesting tidbits that I am sure you will enjoy hearing. Morgiah, Princess of Wayrest. You are trying to track down that letter of the Emperor's, yes? There are very few scandals in the Bay of which I am totally ignorant. I could give you some more information, but nothing is without a price. That I know well. I need a champion who doesn't fear the fire of oblivion. Are you interested? Yes. By the night, that's a relief to me. Do not ask any questions. Get this letter to a certain high-level sorcerer at the Necromancer's crypt, Scorch Barrow, in the Dragontail Mountains. Avoid the rift. If you see it, you have gone too far. They will not be expecting you and will not wait for any introductions. The Necromancers feel that death is a reward for the living, not a punishment. Once you have delivered the letter, they would feel no need to guarantee your safety. It is their way. I need the letter delivered and a response from King of Worms in my hand 1 month from now at the absolute latest. The risks are very high. Asiani, please do not fail. Very good. If you are not rewarded with death by the loyal servants of the Barrow, give this note to Princess Morgiah, please. It is done. I will be the Queen of Firsthold. Although I am sure the engagement will be quite lengthy. Now, I promised you information about the Emperor's letter. The letter you seek is in the hands of Gortwog, the warlord of the Orcs. He bought it from the Thieves Guild of Daggerfall after one of their number stole it from the Queen Aupki. I confess I don't know why the Emperor sent it to Aupki. The girl is innocent to a fault, and everyone knows that Goffred is not the loyal empire today that Lysandus was. Of course, my own family. Well, enough of this boring court gossip. If you really want to find this letter, you should get in good with Mynisera, the former Queen of Daggerfall and Queen Mother to Gottfried. I wouldn't directly approach her. Start with someone of lower station. Asiani Raihan, greetings and salutations. I hope your trip was uneventful. They say that you are keenly interested in the hunting of Daggerfall. My father and King Lysandus were somewhat close. Should you come visit me, I might be able to shed some light upon recent events involving Lysandus. Prince Lawton, Castle Sentinel. Welcome to Sentinel, Asiani. I guess you must have received my letter.
I know some things about Lysandus and why he might be haunting Daggerfall. But before I tell you, you have to promise to do something for me first. Is that alright? I suppose. You will? Think okay. You see, I used to have an older brother, 10 or 11 years older than me, named Beowulf. Whenever I ask what happened to him, I'm told a different story. Some say he got sick and died, some say he was kidnapped by the Underking. I want to know the truth. If you can find some proof of what really happened to him, I'll tell you all I know about King Lysandus. Dear Aziani, if you are interested in learning the truth about the Prince Beowulf, meet me at the Howling Pit in the dirty Jack Lodge of Sentinel. Aziani Raihan? Shh! I would prefer that nobody sees me talking with you. It has come to our attention that the Underking is being wrongly accused of abducting Prince Beowulf. Before you judge, check into Castle Vokke. I will mark it on your map. Who am I? Just call me a loyal servant. Now move away before anyone gets suspicious. Go on, Scram. 25th Morning Star, 3rd Era, 400. Castle Vokke. 2 days I was sealed within this crypt without food or water. I do not know whether hunger or poor health or one of the creatures who share this dank hole with me will kill me first. I only know that I will soon be dead and not even my bones will remain. My hope is that in the years that come this letter will be read and the sad story of Beowulf, Prince of Sentinel, will be told. I am 15 years old at the time of this writing and have been plagued with bad health for most of my life, to the frustration of my hearty parents. The finest healers and apothecaries in Western Tamriel have labored over my every cough and fever, but while they could save my life time and time again, they could not improve my sickly constitution. In retrospect, I received little real affection from the king and queen, embarrassed as they were about begetting such a cripple as their heir of the kingdom. I cannot say I missed the love. I received much attention from the doctors, priests, and herbalists constantly at court. Certainly I was not be the sort of warrior that King Cameron was, but one of my dearest friends, a priest of Stendar, said that I might be the first scholar king in the history of Sentinel. My younger sister Aupki was the true favorite of my parents. Athletic, beautiful and charming, it is hard to think of an uncomplimentary word for her. I am resigned to my imminent death, and yet I would like to see her once again. For 6 years, Aupki and I were the only children of Sentinel. 8 years ago, the queen had a boy child, named him Grecliff, after the ancient Red Guard word for strong king. Few speak that tongue any longer, but all the scholars and nobles of Hammerfell understood. And Grecliff is a strong boy indeed. I have never so much as seen him have. The queen's next child, born only a year after Grecliff, had even more ominous birth name, Lawton. Second boy. Perhaps had I been less sheltered, more suspicious by nature, I might have read into these nominations. Lawton and Grecliff are common enough names in our family, I reasoned. Now I know that even then I was disinherited, even if it was not official yet. For several months before Lawton's birth and over 3 years afterward, I was in the throes of a very serious fever. The doctors despaired of me, but somehow and very gradually I recovered. For the first time, and the last, I read an expression on my father the king's face that was not indifference, it was disgust. That was a fortnight ago.
3 nights ago I was seized by men I had never seen while I was having a walk. My nursemaid stood by watching placidly as I was gagged and tied and thrown roughly into a sack. I do not know how long they rode with me, but I was eventually left here. When I finally freed myself from my bonds, I found that I was alone. My warders have gotten me nowhere. This place is filled with undead creatures that prevent me from finding any exit. I have no hope left, but no fear either. A few regrets. Perhaps had I studied magic instead of history and science, I could free myself of this place. One my tutors told the story of the Underking, how he had placed his life force in the body of a powerful being, and had thus conquered Old Tamriel long ago. Had I only had the strength of a more powerful body like that. But I did not study magic, I studied history, so I leave this letter not to revenge myself, but as an historic document. This is what I most feared. Poor Beowulf. As I promised, here is what I have heard about Lysandus. I don't know how much of this is secret, but I trust you. Lysandus was in love with his court sorceress, a noblewoman named Medora Direni, and during the war with us, his queen found out. They say that while her husband was gone, Queen Mynisera banished Medora from the court. My sister Aupki is a queen now, part of the treaty to ensure peace, but Mynisera still resides at Castle Daggerfall as dowager queen mother. I don't know where Medora went, but I know she has an enormous castle somewhere on the Isle of Bulfira. But I also heard there is some kind of curse on her and she can never leave. I don't know if that helps you, but that's all I know. Again, thank you for Beowulf's letter. Just knowing what happened will ease my heart somewhat. Please take this dainto as a token of my appreciation. Azyani Raihan, welcome to Sentinel. I trust you have had a comfortable stay so far. Let me get right to the point. My son, Prince Lotan, says you are a well-respected and trusted Khajiit. I have need of your sword. I am willing to pay you this sum to infiltrate Castle Wayrest and recover a heirloom of the late King Lysandus for me. Will you do it? Yes. What bounty? There is an item, a painting, that is hidden somewhere within Castle Wayrest. I desire this item for reasons you need not worry about. Bring it to me and I will pay you this petty sum. Did you attempt to use the painting? No. Excellent. Its properties are inappropriate for those not of royal blood. You have shown yourself to be not only loyal but also obedient. Stitched into the zombie's decaying flesh, you see the following message. Azyani Raihan, it would be an honor to have you visit me in my demesne at your convenience. I have a small matter that you are ideally suited for. As always, my servants will test your mettle. Feel free to dispense with them. They can always be raised again. The King of Worms. Azyani, I am so glad you answered my letter. I hope my messenger was gentle. You have been a loyal servant in the past, not as loyal as my living dead, but well. My need involves the lowest depths of Castle Sentinel, and the reward is knowledge that only the dead can provide. Are you willing? Yes. How amusing! I am looking for the answer to a question. It doesn't exist among the living, but may exist among the dead. I want you to bring me back the ghost of Prince Carolus, the great-grandfather of the late King Cameron of Sentinel. Carolus was a sorcerer of no mean skill.
He is now a Lich deep in the bowels of the castle. I am giving you special scarab. If it's close to him when you destroy his physical body, his soul will be trapped in the scarab. Bring it back to me and I will tell you a tale few mortals have heard. In addition, I have decided that it is time for someone outside of Tiber Septim's line to know the truth about the Underking. As you know, Tiber Septim was the first emperor of Tamriel. Toward the end of his wars of conquest, he betrayed his battle mage, Tsurin Arctus. When Tsurin died, his soul refused to leave his body, something to do with the mysterious Numidium. Since that time, Tsurin Arctus has lived on as the Underking. The Underking and his agents have been a thorn in my side for centuries. Just remember, should the Underking regain his mortal body, he will surely throw all of Tamriel into conflict. Greetings, Asiani. I am Medora Dareni, former sorceress of the court of Daggerfall. I have an interest in helping you in your aim to exorcise the spirit of King Lysandus, but I can do little in my present circumstances. If you would pay a visit to a certain other sorceress, I can lift the curse of Daedra Tower. Will you do this for me, Asiani? Yes. I will be in your debt, Asiani. Nulfaga, the mother of my former lord Lysandus, is a renowned mystic, but I have heard whispers that the loss of her son has turned her mad with grief. If this is not true, she can and will help me. I need a certain rare item, the horn of a great unicorn, to break the curse on Daedra Tower. If Nulfaga is indeed mad, you must search her castle for this horn yourself and bring it back to me. I will expect you back in 95 days. You have succeeded in a most dangerous enterprise, Asiani, but many more such trials await you. By bringing the horn to me, you have helped me lift the curse of the Queen Dobagir placed in my tower. I hope I can count on you for further aid. For now, take this casual dress as your reward. What? Who are you? Your vision hazes and the world grows dim. Out of the grey, a woman's face appears. Medora. Asiani, your efforts to free me have not been in vain. I have discovered a powder that will soothe the ghost of my beloved Lysandus. However, it is in the hands of Gortwog, warlord of the orcs, in his steel citadel of Orsinium. Go to him in Orsinium and see if there is anything that can be done to persuade him to give it to you. Bring the powder to me in Daedra Tower once you have it. So Medora wants the dust of Restful death. Only because I respect the memory of King Lysandus will I do this. The dust can be found in the ruins of the old Greenton shack on her own island. Tell Medora that the price is her support of my claim to the heart. She'll know what it means. This parchment was used as a wrap for the packet of powder. Some of its message is now illegible. Lady Med, favor. They intend to slay him. I am sending Earth to stop them. You must support me. If the Empire finds I have attacked royal advisors of if they are assassins, my people will never win the same status and respect as Khajiitians. However, with your support I can a hero of the Empire and win respect for my people. Gortwog. So, hi again. This is indeed the dust of Restful death. As for that letter, it was from Gortwog to me, though I never got it. I heard from him later that his orc warriors were slain attempting to ambush the assassins.
Gortwog and his orcs are not the villains most people seem them as. Edwire and the court of Wayrest have never been particularly loyal to the Empire. To assassinate a king is a treason. I will have my revenge, but first I must find out why Edward would risk this. I will need a month to prepare the dust. Come back to me at that time and I will give it to you, along with the instructions for its use. Dear Asiani Raihan, Queen Akurifi of Sentinel spoke highly of you as a brave, evil and unprejudiced Khajiit. Her actual words were a hero. For some time we have been looking for someone like that. I will not lie to you about our loyalties. We serve the Underking. If you are a believer in fairy tales and consider the Underking the ultimate force of evil, we apologize for misjudging you. Otherwise, we need your help. You can find me at the Greensley residence of Perpetual Tree of Arcade in Sentinel. I will wait 1 month. Good day, Asiani. My name is Tlarfa. I must admit that I am surprised to see you. Are you perhaps able to help the Underking in an endeavor against the Necromancers? We will reward you liberally for this service and provide information you will probably not be able to find elsewhere. Okay. You will. Remarkable. The Necromancers have taken an item of ours, a mace of some value. The value is of secondary concern. The true problem is that they cursed this item and gave it to the Blades. If you are unaware, the Blades were once honor guard for Tiber Septim. Today they are loyal to the Empire and Tiber's code, but not always to the current Emperor. The Underking has reason to not wish harm upon the Blades. We want you to infiltrate Castle Lackwich in Ikalon and remove the mace. Please have this done in 321 days if you want your information and reward. Well done, Asiani. Let me cast the spell upon the mace there. The mace is now safe and yours to keep. Now, even death can hide a true descendant of Tiber Septim from the Underking. King Lysandus did not die in the Battle of Cryingane. He was slain by treachery before it. The monument to him in High Rock is an empty tomb. His remains were secretly taken to an ancient tomb in Mynisera, which I will not reveal to you. I do not know who betrayed Lysandus, nor why his spirit haunts the city of Daggerfall, and not the battlefield of Cryingane. I have kept my part of the bargain, and you have earned the gratitude of the Underking. The powder is ready. All you need to do is sprinkle it on his true corpse. I must warn you, it will not put his shade to rest, but will soothe it sufficiently to allow you a chance to speak with him. The final exorcism is for Lysandus to choose. I do not know where he was buried. I do know that it is not on the field of Cryingane, where they erected that monument to him. If you do speak to him, could you tell him I still love him? Death will not be a barrier to us for long.
If you would truly lay my spirit to rest, be the instrument of my vengeance against Lord Woodmore of Wayrest.
You!
You are that Khajiit, Azyani Raihan. You have been a thorn in my side for a long time now. A wiser Khajiit would have let sleeping kings lie, especially when I have gone to such a great lengths to kill them. Yes, Azyani, I killed King Lysandus, and now it will be a pleasure to slay you, and on God. I'm done in. It's up to Gottfried now. May you rot in hell, Azyani Raihan. I most certainly shall. Lord Woodbourne is dead.
King Lysandus is at last able to rest. The waits and ghosts of his loyal soldiers vanish as the soul passes to the underworld, leaving the city of Daggerfall to the living.
Hey, if I told you I could give you a bit of information, let's say about that letter of my lady, would you be interested there, Azyani? I thought so. Now, mind you, I ain't giving it away. Before I scratch your back, you're going to scratch mine, deal? My name is Sindasa Daggerfall. I'll tell you everything I know, but I don't need to remind you that there ain't no such thing as free info. Do I, Azyani Raihan? I'm just a maid to Her Highness, nothing but a fleck to the world, and my needs ain't big. I need this werewolf done in. I know just where it is. Some Kinneret forsook hole called Tristan Laboratory off the coast over Bethany Way. I can't tell you why, but it's important to me that that werewolf gets put out its misery. I'll wait here for 204 days for you. That ought to be plenty of time. The body of the werewolf begins to transform before your very eyes. In just a few minutes it has become a young man who seems to bear a strong resemblance to Sindasa. You find the diary fragment written in a scrolling hand. I cannot believe Sindasa acted so spitefully, just because I broke up with her friend, Victivira Ashfield. Well, I never much cared for visiting Charlton either, and so we parted amicably, but paying to turn me in to the shapeshifters, I just don't get it. Sindasa must be picking up bad ways from those rotten nobles at the Daggerfall court. It's dead then, is it? Poor thing, he used to be my brother, if you ask me. He died long ago, when he first got bit. He hated himself when he became that beast. I wish there would be another way to help him. I promised I will tell you about that letter you're looking for, didn't I now? Of course I remember that letter, Azyani. It's not every day that you get a letter from the Emperor himself, especially seeing as the king ain't too fond of him. Fact, that's the only letter I ever seen from him. I give it to Her Majesty, and she is all excited, and she rip it open and says, "This isn't for me. This is addressed to Mynisera." Then boom, her jaw will open and her eyes get real wide. She will make sure the Queen Mother gets it, and then I don't have to worry myself none about it. Hello, Azyani Raihan. I have heard much about you. Now you come to me with a very interesting tale of deception. So, Sindasa the maid says that Aupki opened a letter from the Emperor addressed to me. I can tell such a letter to me. I would like you to investigate this further, Azyani Raihan. It could be dangerous to poke into the affairs of Aupki without enraging King Gottfried, even though he's my own son. Are you willing? Sure. Good. I have long had my suspicions about Aupki's loyalty to the Emperor. She is a daughter of the late King Cameron, who ruled Hammerfell from his citadel in Sentinel. My husband, King Lysandus, Kinneret rest his soul, died at Craigane, as did King Cameron. Lysandus' body was not recovered, so he has a monument erected there rather than a true tomb. Ah, my mind wanders. The Emperor uses Endictor Hawkham as his messenger in Daggerfall. He could be anywhere in the region delivering missives. However, Endictor Hawkham is a member of the Knights of the Dragon. Go to the Red Castle in the Green Rascal Pub and ask for Elizabeth Houghton. She may know where to find Endictor Hawkham. Try to find out why a letter addressed to me was delivered to Aupki. The Green Rascal Pub. I am Elizabeth Houghton. I will not normally tell anyone who is not a knight of the dragon where to find Endictor Hawkham. However, I am loyal to Queen Mynisera. I also know that Endictor Hawkham disemboweled the last person that tried to ambush him. In 66 days he is due to be at Palace in Knightstown. Try him there. Ho! You should be warned that I am a Knight of the Dragon in the service of the Emperor himself. If this is some ruse to ambush me, you will surely not live to regret it. Yes, I am Endictor Hawkham. This signet ring proves that you are indeed in the service of Mynisera. Some time ago I delivered a letter from the Emperor addressed to the Queen of Daggerfall. If I am not mistaken, Aupki is the Queen of Daggerfall, not Mynisera. Tell Mynisera that I take my duties quite seriously. I will never knowingly deliver a missive to the wrong party. Queen Aupki gave me this amulet in gratitude. Show it to Mynisera so that she may know I am a loyal servant and faithful to my order. Now it makes sense. Uriel Septim addressed the message to the Queen of Daggerfall. When he sent it, I was queen. By the time it arrived, my dear Lysandus was dead and Aupki was queen. We must find out what was in that letter. I have never trusted Aupki. Yesterday I received a letter from Princess Morgiah of Wayrest, claiming to know something of the Emperor's letter. Now there is a family that thieves under the rule of the Emperor. Return to me if you find out who has the Emperor's letter. For now you have proven yourself to me, Azani Raihan. Keep the amulet as a token of my gratitude. I have no desire to own anything Aupki's anymore. But I already know that it's Gortwog, the Lord of the Orcs, who owns it. So Morgiah says Gortwog has the Emperor's letter. Very interesting. I think I have a way to get Gortwog to turn over that letter. Are you willing to brave the depths of Orsinium to try to retrieve it? Gortwog wants very badly to be recognized by the Empire. It would mean the beginning of peace between the orcs and the other races of the Empire. Present this letter to Gortwog. Hopefully it will persuade him to cooperate. So, Mynisera seeks to sweet-talk me. Bah, her letter is of no value to me anymore. She may have it. However, my people may not be so lenient toward a Khajiit wandering the halls of Orsinium. If you can survive my realm and find my letter, you may take it back to her. I will also consider you to be a worthy Khajiit. Queen Mynisera, I have grave news. The totem of Tiber Septim has been found. We know what this means. The power behind Tiber Septim could be unleashed upon Tamariel again. Rumor has it that Lord Woodbourne, a minor lord of Wayrest, has possession of it. He will doubtless lose it soon. We must persuade him to turn it over to you, or Lady Briziana. The court of Wayrest has no love of King Lysandus, but you still have influence there. I'm asking you to use it on my behalf, Royal Septim. Aziani, this letter is dangerous. Gortwog had undoubtedly sold copies of it to everyone from Wayrest to the Underking. After all, if the powers of the Iliac Bay become embroiled in war over the totem, he stands to gain quite a lot. Go now, you have done your job. I am sure the totem will find its way into your life somehow. You seem to have a knack for such things. Just remember, the only safe master of the totem is the Emperor. Azyani, I am glad you could meet me here. The Blades and your Emperor need you again. You may or may not be aware that the Totem of Tiber Septim has been found. For a brief time Lord Woodbourne of Wayrest had it. Where he got it from is still a mystery. The Blades mounted an assault upon Woodbourne Hall to retrieve it. Although the hall fell, many of our number fell with it. We sacked the Woodbourne Hall, but the totem was gone. I have reason to believe that Gottfried has the totem. The Blades no longer have the men to mount an assault on Castle Daggerfall. You have shown yourself to be quite adept at getting in and out of these places. Would you go into Castle Daggerfall and retrieve the Totem of Tiber Septim? Sure. I knew I could count on you, Azyani. The totem is most likely in the Daggerfall treasury. It is a huge room, quite unmistakable. I am leaving in a couple of days. I shall send a word to you where you can meet me after you get the totem. Should you succeed, the Emperor has instructed me to gift you with an artifact of great power and renown, Warlock's Ring. A voice in your head intones. You are Azyani Raihan, you are my new host. Know this now and resolutely. You are not worthy to carry the Totem of Tiber Septim. Only those of his blood line may carry me. I will give you a year and a day to accomplish this. A hand grips your wrist from behind. Spinning, you open your mouth to shout for the gods. A skeletal hand stuffs a letter into your mouth. The heavily roped skeleton releases your wrist and turns away, unnoticed by a heavily cloaked figure shuffles toward you. As you prepare to defend yourself, a gnarled green hand shoots forth with a letter. Stunned, you do nothing as the figure shuffles away. Azyani Raihan, you are not Orcish. How could you possibly understand what it is like? My people are treated like barbarians, slaughtered upon sight. Is it so unusual that we respond in kind? Violence begets violence. I aspire to raise my race from the mire. I will bring them to equal standing with the other races of Tamriel. To do this, I am the Totem of Tiber Septim. I will not insult you by promises that no blood will be shed. I do swear by my crown and by my heirs, I shall not attempt to hold sway beyond the borders of Orsinium. My goal is to not to conquer Tamriel, but to create the Orcish homeland. I am in possession of an artifact that I am sure you would want to possess. It is yours if you but give me the Totem of Tiber Septim. Gortwog, Warlord and King. Azyani Raihan, you will soon have the Totem of Tiber Septim in your hands. It is foreseen in the stars, and I have read them. Know you this, all of mortal stature are filled with pride and greed. To give the totem to any of them is to let loose mortal vanity upon this world. They will destroy the very thing they covet. I have no earthly desires, I have no mortal pride, no petty greed. Only one such as I can wield the totem safely, for I will take it into the Aetherius and leave behind this earthly shell. So long as the totem exists, it is a danger to all of Tamriel. Bring me the totem and I will safeguard the world. I will not offer you gold or gems, I will offer you what only I can give, fame. Your reputation throughout Tamriel will soar. Lord of the Necromancers, King of the Worms. Dear Azyani, Numidium was Tiber Septim's secret weapon in his bid for supreme power. A 1,000-foot tall automation. A golem, or an atronach of sorts, powered by a gem called the Mantella. The Mantella was infused with the life force of Tiber Septim's Imperial Battle Mage, and with it Septim crushed all who stood in his way. After the complete and total defeat of all his opponents, Septim began using Numidium to crush the neutral royal families of Tamriel, so that he could enthrone only persons he knew to be loyal. His imperial battle mage was furious at this use of his creation and vowed to reclaim the Mantella. In the ensuing battle, both the created and the creator were vanquished. The heart they shared blown out of this reality into the netherworld they called Aetherius. Numidium's body was scattered throughout the Tamriel, and the Imperial Battle Mage without his life force went into a semi-slumber in a subterranean vault. In the centuries that followed, the Emperor's elite soldiers, for generation after generation, collected the pieces of the Numidium and became known as the Blades. Tiber Septim's Imperial Battle Mage became known as the Underking and sent his forces out to find the Mantella. Be warned, therefore, those who search for the totem of Tiber Septim are searching for the mechanism the first Emperor of Tamriel used to control Numidium. Should Numidium return, he or she who holds the totem will control Tamriel's fate. A friend. Azyani Raihan. Centuries ago, Tiber Septim ruled the land and forged an empire with a great Numidium. The secret of Numidium's power lies in its heart, carried within the Mantella. It is the heart of Tiber Septim's battle mage. It is my heart. It is my Mantella. It is my totem. It belongs to me and to none other. I have won and lost an empire. I have no desire to tamper further with mortal affairs. I have in my possession Necromancer's amulet, one of the world's greatest artifacts. You may have it in exchange for the totem. My most loyal agent will await your arrival in Weeping Tree of Kinrith of Daggerfall, at the Temple of Kinrith. Underking. The Underking will be most pleased. He has searched many lifetimes for this lost item. I have been instructed to give you this object. Use it wisely. Should you ever locate the Mantella, the Underking will be most appreciative. The unmistakable voice of Nulfaga speaks softly in your head. I see that the totem has found its way into the hands of someone with royal blood. I think it's time you paid me another visit here in Shidungend. Azyani Raihan, your work is not yet done. Only crowned heads will hold the totem true. First one, who killed, but did not kill. Another, second, is one who is too devoured by its young third. Is one who made one slave and many free forth. And fifth are two who compete for mud. Sixth is one who brings a home to the homeless. Seventh is one who lords all, but does not lord at all. I do not know who of these seven is most worthy of the power. For too long have I let my passions make me mad. Sometimes the fate of a world hangs on the decision of one person. You have chosen who will command Great Numidium. You bear the burden for the consequences. I send you now to the Mantellan Crocs, the safeguarded prison of the Mantella. Look for a green jewel of an unusual size, early touch of the Mantella, and it is freed. You will be transported back to my side. Nulfaga cackles. Not so fast, Azyani Raihan. Don't you want to see the result of your handiwork? Look now into the book of the time. Read upon its pages and the history of what shall pass within the next few days. Read fate as it shall be recorded upon the Elder Scrolls.
Centuries of undead sleep are shaken up, rousing the Underking. No mortal force can stop his fateful reunion with the ghost of his heart. and he joins with it in an all-consuming fiery embrace. And for just one moment, he is flesh and blood, then blessed death is granted to Tiber Septimus' battle.